brother up, so anything they got to say which is nasty most of the time, it's always through you. And it's not just maybe mum and dad, it's the family for your dad and the family for your mum because they don't get on normally.
Oh, you're two sets of grandparents, you mean?
Yeah.
What, they all say nasty things about each other?
My dad's sister, before my mum and dad got divorced, they had a fight, and my dad's sister doesn't like my mum, and we were sat at the table one day when I was at my dad's, and she said something, and then I said to my dad, I want to go, and then that sort of started the argument again, and then my mum and dad started arguing, and it's just, you feel, because I'm an only child as well, you feel lonely because I didn't have anybody to speak to, I felt, because if I spoke to my mum, then my mum would just say nasty things about my dad, and I didn't want that.
When you say you spoke to your mum, what about being lonely, or what would occasion your mother saying nasty things about your dad to you?
Mostly about money, if I wanted to go out anywhere, or if...
Oh, so you were asking her for money?
Yeah.
And she then say things about your
Yeah.
get it from your dad or something?
Yeah, and say that he was always like that when I was living with him, and that's what he's like, and then I didn't want to hear that. I just wanted them to be, if not to be together, then just be friends.
Yeah. How old are you?
15.
How old was you when all this was happening?
I was only about 4 when they got divorced, but it never ends.
Never ends?
No, with them all.
Why don't you you're the grown-up here, aren't you? You got two squabbling kids there.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. You got two. Well, what you want to say to them is, you should say to your mum, Mum, I love my dad like I love you, and I don't want to hear anything bad about my dad. And you should say to your dad the same. I love my mum like I love you. You know I love you, Dad, don't I? Yeah, and he says, yeah. I said, well, I love Mum the same, and I don't want to hear anything bad. So will you both please pack it in? Don't you? Don't you want to say that? Have you ever done that?
Well, it's my mum mostly that is saying things about my dad, and I have said to her that I don't like it, and now she does it. Say if I've done something, she'd say, "Oh, you're just like your dad," or...
I will tell her to pat her in as well. Unless it's nice. Unless it's like when you score the hat trick, it says you're just like your dad. That's okay, but not other. Because you've got to teach them. You've got, because some parents are a bit juvenile, aren't they? And they really have to be taught what to do, don't they?
Yeah, a lot. I totally agree. Because I can remember when my parents first got divorced, my mum told me that my dad didn't love me. And that was a really, really hard thing to accept. And I totally do not think what my mum did was right.
No. You told her?
Yeah, I totally resent her for that. I think what she did was wrong.
What did she say about it?
She says, looking back, she regrets it, but she was upset, and that I can understand. Yeah. But when you're only 9 years old, it's enough to deal with the fact that they're getting divorced. No, you don't need that extra pressure.
Did you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I've got a little sister, and at the time she was 4, and she took it really, really hard. And so I felt I had to be there for her.
So you had to, it was like, yeah, because if your mum and dad are squabbling, then it's like you have to look after your sister, and then it's more pressure.
Yeah.
And then tell her what's going on.
But you said you were lonely.
I was, yeah, because I didn't have any brothers or sisters to talk to, and I didn't feel that I could talk to my friends because when I was younger, I didn't know what the problem was because they never told me, so I thought that I was the cause of why they were splitting up.
Yeah.
Just like all the others. Yeah. So you all felt the same. You felt the same too.
Yeah, I felt I had to be the strong one there for my sister, because being so little, and she had no one. I mean, my parents didn't really talk to us about it.
Do you want them to talk to you?
Yeah, I wanted to know the exact reasons.
You wanted to be sat down and told the whole truth?
Yeah.
What age?
I was 9.
What age do you think's the earliest age you can do that? Who's the youngest who was told? Anybody told at 6? Anybody told at 6, yeah? Amy, what you were told when your mum and dad, when you were 6?
Yeah.
How did they tell you?
My mum told me that they were going to split up.
And what, did she sit you down somewhere? Cup of tea?
No.
Not even a cup of tea? Oh, normally you give somebody a cup of tea and say, you know, have a cup of tea because I've got something to tell you. What did you get? You just sat at the table or in the bedroom or where?
Sat in my mum's bedroom.
In your mum's bedroom? And your dad wasn't there?
No.
And what did mum said you're going to split up. Did you understand what she meant?
Yeah.
At 6? Okay, tell me what you think that meant.
I thought it meant that my dad was going to move away and then they weren't going to live together.
Okay, and what did you feel when you realised that that was going to happen?
I was really sad and I started crying.
Who did you blame? I mean, you might not blame anybody. It's a kind of strong word, blame, but who do you think was at fault or responsible, or what was the cause?
I have blamed it on my dad, I think.
Why did you blame it on your dad?
Because he was the one that normally started the arguments.
Okay. Did your dad talk to you about why they were splitting up?
No.
Has he never talked to you about it?
Yeah.
What does he say?
He says, I still love Mum and I would like to get back together with her, but your Mum might probably not want to.
Okay. How old are you now, Amy?
7.
And you know that your mum loves you?
Yeah.
And you know that your dad loves you?
Yeah.
Even though they're now separate and apart. And can you cope with them living apart?
Not really, because I haven't been seeing my dad that much because he said his car was broken down and he couldn't come to pick us up. But he picked my brother up.
Oh, and so you don't like him picking your brother up and not picking you up?
Yeah.
Where did he pick your brother up from? From your house?
No, because he lives in Langley because he's my half brother.
Okay.
That's like me. Like I haven't seen my dad for like 4 months. I didn't see my dad for 4 months, and then like I started seeing him, and I saw him for like occasionally on Saturdays and Sundays. But then after that, I didn't see him for like 6 months, stuff like that. And he went on holiday a few weeks ago, and like I only just started seeing him a few days ago again, and like. I know how she feels, like not seeing your dad and that her dad taking her brother. Like that's what he used to do with my sister, because my sister used to live with my dad.
How does it make you feel?
It makes you feel really sad because like you feel like they only want your sister or your brother.
What, you feel rejected?
Yeah.
Is that the word you would use?
Yeah.
So, I don't want to put words in your mouth. You would?
Yeah, you would.
You're piggy in the middle too, are you?
Yeah.
In what way?
Like when I go to my dad's and see all my cousins and everything, they always like say things like about my mum's side. And like when I'm with my mum, they say about my dad.
Don't you tell them what he does? So just pack it in.
Yes.
Don't you ever say?
Yeah.
Because how old are you now?
I'm 13.
Don't you ever say to them, look, see, I know what you think, and you're all entitled to your point of view, but this really hurts me because I love my mum and my dad, and whatever my mum and my dad would have done, and whatever they feel about it, that's for them. But unfortunately, you can't change your mum, or fortunately, your dad. They're always going to be your mum and dad.
Yeah.
And please leave them alone.
Yeah.
You write.
Yeah,
to them, don't
when
you?
I was little, when I first
When you were little, how old were you when you were little?
I was about, so I was 9.
9, okay.
I used to write letters to my dad, from me though, saying like, oh, I've been speaking to Mum and Mum says this has been really, really nice, and then I used to send letters to my mum.
So hang on, being really nice, saying like she likes him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she wants him back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you used to write letters to Mum.
Mum saying the same about my dad.
Lies, like.
Yeah.
And obviously you're doing that because you wanted them to get back together, but it didn't work.
No, but it's for the best now, I feel. Like, my mum's happy and so is my dad, so the only thing that's stopping it really is I don't see my dad as much as I want to.
How often do you want to see him?
Like, every weekend I'd like to see my dad.
Do you tell him that?
Yeah.
You told him?
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets better, because it happened to me, I was very much stuck in between my parents, you know, where was I going to stay each weekend? But my parents have been split up 10 years now, and we spent Christmas together this year for the first time, and it was really weird, but it just gets so much easier over time.
But you have to be brave.
Oh yeah, and I had my little sister to look after as well.
Who did you have to be brave for?
My dad, because my dad was hurt.
Why did you have to be brave for your dad?
I hate seeing him upset. Hate it.
So what, you didn't talk to... You were upset?
Oh yeah.
How old were you?
I was 8 when it happened.
You were really upset?
Yeah.
Describe how upset you were.
I was starting a new school as well at the time, so I was a complete uplift of life, and we moved out pretty quickly from my dad's house. But it was just, you can't describe it. It's such a mixture of feelings: anger, resentment, but there's also you're sad and you're lonely. And I had, my little sister. She was just, I don't think she remembers much of it, but yeah, I had to look after her and protect her. And I think it brought us closer together. And even today, we're still, still very much look out for her.
You say you're angry, you're sad, you're lonely, resentment, all that was there, but you didn't say that to your dad. Because you wanted to protect him from...
Yeah, I want to protect him today because he's going through a second divorce at the moment, and I'm more, as I've got older, I want to look after him more.
Well, look after him, protect him from... So you weren't telling him how bad you felt because you didn't want to upset him?
Yeah. And I spoke to my mum more about it than my dad.
Yeah, it's like my mum. She's also going through a second divorce. And you feel you've got to be there for them.
Yeah.
So you really have to be strong no matter what you're feeling.
Yeah.
You want to be there for them. And I think my little sister's finding it hard as she took it the worst out of the first divorce. And I think it's really hard for her to cope with it. And as being the oldest as well, and I've now got a little half-brother, I feel like I've got to be the one who holds it all together.
Yeah.
It's like the jigsaw piece.
Gareth?
I think I was kind of luckier because I only felt really upset when they were fighting, and then after they'd split up, because they split up a long time before they got divorced, then it was like after they were separate and not fighting anymore, it didn't upset me anymore.
But were you weren't kind of in the middle between with their conflict, that you didn't feel that you got torn loyalties, divided loyalties?
No, because they kept telling me that even though they didn't love each other anymore,
They loved you.
they kept telling me. And
Right.
Yeah, can I just say something? I'm not what you like call pig in the middle because I get to see my mum like 3 times a year, which I love. I love seeing my mum. And when I come back,
3 times a year?
Yeah, 3
Why
times
only
a-
3 times a year?
well, she lives in Turkey, so I
okay.
travel.
Yeah.
When I come back, I get to see my dad. And when my mum comes to visit me in London, my dad and mum, they talk, they act like friends, they don't fight. So it wasn't bad.
So that's what's important to you,
Yeah.
the fact, just like Gareth.
So they get along now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all right.
Yeah, you do. You feel like the messenger between the two of them.
A messenger.
Yeah, you have to send messages from your dad to your mum.
What kind of messages do you send them? You sound like somebody's going doing the shopping or something, or putting a bet on at the bookies.
No, it's like when your dad wants to see you, you have to tell your mum, because my dad won't speak to my mum at the moment.
Oh, so you're the go-between.
Yeah, they've had a falling out. And, but I do see my dad twice a week.
So what he says things to you like, tell your mom, give me an example, but be careful, like, think of a nice example. He says, tell your mom what, and she says, tell your dad this. Go on, what kind of
like
things?
he'll say that, tell your mum that I'll meet you in Plymouth at so-and-so time.
Oh, this
And
is
that you're to drop her off and things like that.
Oh, this is arranging you.
Yeah.
Oh, so would you feel like a parcel?
Yeah,
You do?
Yeah.
So you're a messenger and a parcel.
yeah.
What else do you feel like?
I don't know.
What's-
I mean, you feel like it's your fault that they split up, and that you have to be the one that has to talk. You have to get them back together to talk again, and you don't know what to say.
What do you think you should say?
So I don't know. I mean,
She writes letters.
yeah. Yeah, you feel like that, yeah. 'cause,
Do you?
know,
You feel like doing
every
that?
single child wants their parents back together in the end.
Do they?
I mean, most of them do,
Lou?
but for most,
I wouldn't say I do, because now my parents are both remarried and they're divorced, so I can't imagine them being together again. So I find it pretty weird. But as you're saying, you know, your parents are quite friendly, aren't they?
Yeah, at the moment they are, yeah. They
Yeah,
always
and-
talk to each other.
Yeah, my parents are like best friends, and you know, I think that's really admirable, because if they're nasty, then it makes it horrible for everybody else, because the effect comes on all of us, and it's not fair because, you know, it's a difference between them and not us, and that we're in the middle. So I think if someone's parents, if the divorced parents can be friendly.
So you tell him what I said to him, to tell his parents to pack it in.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, to grow up.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
In a way, divorce from my parents turned out to be a good thing, because now they're much happier. They seem much happier.
It's the same with me. I'm like the messenger in the middle, because when my dad phones me, I have to tell my mum that he's picking me up one day, because I only see my dad like every 3 weeks, but once in the week.
Is it difficult when you see him? Is it kind of artificial? Because if your dad's in the house like he was, and you're around together, he's just there, isn't he? So you could just walk into the room and say, oh, Dad, did you realise I've got to do this tomorrow? Or can you mend this for me? Or what's happening in Ethiopia at the moment? Or something. You can do all that, can't you? Whereas when you're having to meet him at a set time, it becomes more... Does it become more superficial or artificial? Because you've almost got to be on your best behaviour or something.
Well, yeah, when I go around my dad's, my dad doesn't tell me off, because I'm really good there.
Oh, that's because you're really good there.
Yeah.
Why are you really good there? Where there? Meaning what? He's got another.
He's got another girlfriend.
Yeah.
And she's got two children.
So you behave yourself when you go
Yeah.
there, do you? Why? I mean, of course you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I mean you're making why are you making a special effort?
Well, I don't really know.
Does your relationship with your mum and dad change then when you get Can they get divorced?
Yeah.
In what
Yeah,
way?
it does.
In what way?
I sort of became more bitter towards my mum because she, separated with my dad. So I was a bit stressed out of her, really. I wouldn't speak to her as much as I used to, and she'd take offence, and then, we wouldn't speak at all.
Why was it you had that? You were stressed out or resentful to your mum?
Because she separated with my dad.
And who you stayed with your dad?
Yeah.
And how often do you see your mum?
Probably about once every 2 weeks, maybe more.
How old were you when she left?
It happened about 7-8 weeks ago.
Oh, as recently as that? And so at the beginning, do you feel quite raw?
Mm-hmm.
You still feel quite angry about it? And you blamed her?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't speak to her? Did your dad try to reconcile you with your mum?
Yeah.
What did he say to you?
Well, my dad's like the nicest bloke, if you know what I mean. He doesn't like to cause arguments. And when I say to him, Dad, I'm not happy with Mum, or something like that, he would always try and say, oh, Mum doesn't mean anything by it.
So he was trying to improve your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Does the relationship change?
Yeah, it does, because my dad went into a flat and I was with my mum, and it was like 3 or so weeks before I saw him again, and it was really hard when he came to see him, because it was the last straw when he came home, and he said, because we were going on holiday the next day, but it had been a doleful day, and it really rejected. My mum got really, really angry.
What, because you've been out at golf?
Yeah,
did you say?
all day,
Yeah.
because he's meant to be doing
getting ready for the holiday.
Yeah. But he didn't do anything.
So what? So she divorced him?
No. No, because there's a lot before that as
Right.
well.
But that was the final straw, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and how long have they been divorced now?
About 2 years.
And how old are you?
I'm 10.
And what's your relationship with your dad now?
Well, it's not as close as it was.
Why?
Because I think, because he's with somebody else now, and I don't feel comfortable.
Why
with
don't you
him.
feel comfortable?
Because I don't like having two people, my mum, and then he's that person, I think.
Your mum and, how do you mean?
And my dad's got another person he's with.
He's got a girlfriend, and you don't feel comfortable with those two. Why don't you feel comfortable? What is it that makes you uncomfortable?
Well, because she's got children and they're teenagers, and I just want somebody to play with, but...
Do you feel awkward?
Yeah.
But that's in that relationship. What about your relationship with your dad when you're together?
Well,
is that different?
Yeah, it's very different from what it was, because he used to come home from work, he'd say hello, but he does spend time with us, and like recently, for like 4 weeks, he wouldn't see us.
So it's the fact that you've got the distance, the time. Stephanie?
When my mum and dad split up, I just would not talk to my mum at all. I'd never speak to her or anything. When she come and she used to knock on my door and try and talk to me, but I just slammed the door in her face.
Why?
Just because she walked out on me and my dad, and I just felt like I'd done something wrong, and she didn't love me or my dad anymore,
And what's your relationship like now?
It's a bit better. I'll talk to her now.
You'll talk to her.
Yeah.
Did you never talk to her? You know, I mean, you lot are the adults here, isn't it? Didn't you? But you are. Didn't you ever kind of sit down to her and say, explain why you felt the way you did, so that she could kind of try and help you understand what was going on?
She just walked out in sort of a rush.
In a rush?
Yeah.
And that's what you resented?
Yeah.
And that's why your relationship has changed, yeah?
I knew that things had changed between Mum and my dad, but I tried to, think it as it never changed. Thingy.
You tried to pretend?
Yeah.
You were in denial?
Yeah.
You were pretending nothing had happened?
Yeah.
But what about your relationship with Mum and Dad?
Well...
You see, he's saying in effect it became awkward. I don't know whether you use that word, but it's almost that your relationship with Dad is awkward now because he's away for so long, or he sees him so infrequently.
I get on better with my mum, and I don't really see my dad that often.
You get on better with your mum than you used to,
Yeah.
or after the divorce?
Then I used to get
Every week or so I get better.
I'll be honest, right? Me and my dad...
Well, we're all being honest here, you know.
Me and my dad never used to really get on much before because we always used to argue. But I think one of the good things that's come out of this divorce is that I do have a much better relationship with my dad, and I think that's important.
How did that happen?
Well, I don't know, we just...
I think it's because he hasn't got as much pressures on him of looking after the family and stuff like that. So when you see him, he's more relaxed and calmed down, so...
Oh, so all the pressures of the relationship between him and your mum, all that might have made it... Now that's settled.
He can do what he wants to do and when he wants to do it, so he's more relaxed.
So he's more relaxed with you two. And you find him an easier, a better person to be with?
Better person to be with.
I went through a stage where it was really difficult with my dad because he got remarried and I didn't get on with my stepmom. And now that my stepmom's off the scene again, we get on so much better, and we get so much easier when everything calms down.
Ben?
Once my mum stopped going out with my dad and he moved, my mum let me go to his for every weekend, but now she's changed it to every other weekend. Because she and Dad keep telling me different parts of how they split up and that, and Dad only tells me his part of the story, Mum only tells me her part of the story, and I don't understand.
And you, well, you should, why don't you, again, perhaps, you know what you need to do? It's coming through all the time, you need to get your two parents down, and you say, I want to see you two. You make an appointment with them both, and you say, you sit there, would you like a cup of tea? And you say, now, you could do that, couldn't you, Ben? I want this sorted out, because I'm really fed up of being told one story and another story, and I want the definitive version now, and you know, the truth. And so we can kind of put it behind us. Could you do that, Ben?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, yeah.
You think so? You're going to have a go at doing that?
Yeah.
Because that's what you all want, isn't it? You just want the truth. Isn't the truth important, Luke?
Yeah, I'd say pretty much so, because if one sort of parent has one sort of set of standards and, you know, another has another, then they sort of conflict and you don't know where you are.
Gareth?
Yeah, that happened to me a lot because my mum tends to see things one way and my dad's got a bit more of a laid-back view, like about school and money and stuff like this, and it just, you know, I get on well with my dad, but they tell me different things. Like when I'm at Dad's, he'll tell me one thing, I'll go back to Mum and I'll say,
what kind of thing? Give me an example, without giving too many family secrets away. What is it that kind of, think about it, and you too, Ben, while he's talking, be thinking, what is it that one of them tells you that the other one, that's different to what the other one tells, that really irritates you?
Well, it doesn't like it irritates me, but, like, Mum will say, oh, Dad's not being very nice because we need some money for this and he's not giving it.
It's always about money.
Lisa's your sister. The arguments are about money?
All of the arguments they have is about money, and you can't sit them down and say, you know, can I have the truth, please? They don't want to tell you because it's like their little secret and they don't let you into anything. Yeah. And then, you know, they'll start arguing about money and stuff. Money is a really big deal in the family because we go to a private school and it's really expensive. You know, and then I'll say, oh, you know, I need some new shoes or something, or I need this or I need that, because I do need it. And like, who's got? Well, your dad earns more money than I do, you know, and it just makes it really difficult.
So they're pushing the responsibility from one to the other.
Yeah, they do that
all the time.
That must make you feel pretty awful.
Well, no, because the way
What do you mean, no?
It doesn't. You know, I tend to think that. I mean, Dad does earn more than Mum, but Mum isn't really fair on Dad either, so. You know, it's just their problem, really.
Lisa's not agreeing with you.
Not at all, Gareth. Sorry.
What's...
Well, my mum has got a new husband, well, 2 years ago, they got married, and, you know, she goes on all these holidays and stuff, and I just feel like, well, you know, and they're always
We ought to be clear here, haven't we? Because we can see the vibes, and I can see your eyes moving, Gareth. Gareth, you live with Mum.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I live with my dad.
And you live with Dad. So you two have got divided loyalties too, because he's clearly seeing that it's your dad's fault, and you're seeing it as Mum's fault.
Yeah, I mean, I can identify so much more with my dad about what annoyed him about my mum, because me and my dad are really similar, and I don't know my mum.
It's different for everybody, but me and my mum, we're like best friends now. Like, I can tell her everything, and like I get on more with my dad, and
I have to say I'm so spoiled, and like even
So spoiled?
Yeah, if my mum doesn't have money, she can always find it from somewhere to give it to me, or if I will need to go out or something, then like there's always someone.
Is that because the mother's going to kill me for this, but is it because she feels guilty, do you think?
No, because there's no guilt in any of it, because...
Right. Is it because you're manipulative and you're kind of playing one off against the other, just like our friend over there has to be on her best behaviour?
No, it's not like that. But
Are you sure?
Yeah, but my dad, he wants to give me and the boys, my two brothers, what he can, and the same for my mum. She won't give us what we want when we want it. Like, it'll take a period of time.
Yeah.
But we will, like, not always, but most of the time, get what we want.
I feel now that Mummy and Daddy have split up that they get on quite a bit more better, because whenever, like, say, Mummy or Daddy they're at each other's houses and they don't agree with something and they really had enough, they always can just disappear into their own house and they don't have to always stick around together.
And have a row?
Yeah.
They could just clear off and go.
Yeah.
But do you get on better with Mum and Dad now they're separate? You do? Than you did before?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yeah, when I was little, my mum said when I was born, my dad went and he left me and my mum and my brother on my own. And then since I've gone up now, I've got really used to it and got a divorce. And now my mum and dad get on well with each other and everything's fine. But now my mum's got remarried again to my stepdad and everything's fine.
So you get on with them okay too.
Yeah.
What about your brothers and your sisters? Because that relationship, particularly if you're in separate houses, how do you get on with your brother after the divorce?
Well, I didn't really see my brother much.
This is him next to you, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't really see my brother much because he lives with my dad all the time, and he only comes over if my dad's on holiday or something.
Do you miss him? Your brother, I mean. You can tell she don't by the look on her face, can't you? Don't you miss him?
Not much.
Do you miss her?
No.
You don't?
No.
Do you feel like a brother and sister then?
No.
Well, he says yes, he said no.
Ish.
How old are you? Ish. He said ish, you said no. How old are you?
9.
And how old are you?
11.
11. And how long have you been split?
About a year.
A year.
About a year.
And and so you're with who?
My dad.
And you're with Mum. And is that a good thing to do, to split you like that?
In one sense, it probably is.
What's the sense in which it is?
Because we used to like really fight a lot, and now we don't, because it's like we don't see each other as much.
Yeah. Leonie?
I disagree. I don't think it can ever be better to be split up from your brother or sister, because that's the person you're going to need, because your parents have got their own problems and they're arguing amongst themselves. So you're going to need somebody to say, you know, look, you know, I'm here for you if you need it. And all brothers and sisters argue. I mean, me and Darren, we do argue sometimes, but it's more important than that, because I mean, say, God forbid it or anything, but say something was to happen to one of you, you would feel so guilty that you didn't have your brother and sister with you.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if I didn't have my sister, I'd have no one to talk to. I mean, when it first happened, I was just totally devastated. I didn't believe it at all. And, you know...
This is your sister next to you?
Yeah, this is my sister.
How old were you when it happened?
I was 8, 7. Yeah. I was 8.
And how old was sister?
She was 12.
12. And how old was?
3.
You were 3?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
8. Yeah.
8. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, if I didn't have my sister, I'd have no one to talk to. When it first happened, I was blaming my mum. I was really angry at her because my dad was the one who moved out, and I thought she'd made him move out.
Yeah.
So.
But you needed your sister there to kind of, the three of you together, pull closer together, presumably, yeah?
And in a way, I didn't really want to know the truth. I just wanted to know that everything was okay, everything was going to work out. So I did go to my sister and, you know, talk to her about it, but I never went to my mum, never went to my dad, and it's really hard to be the go-between between both of them.
Yeah, when my mum and dad first split up, I blamed my mum because she just ran off with another man. But now it's okay because my mum and my dad are both happy.
What were you going to say then?
If I didn't have my sister with me and she lived with my dad, I just wouldn't get along that well.
Which is your sister? Is she here?
No,
She's not here.
with my mum.
How old are you?
7.
You're 7. How old were you when Mum and Dad split?
4.
4.
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Can you remember? Can you remember when they were together?
I can remember a bit.
But how old is your sister, did you say?
She's 4 now, but she was 2 when my mum and dad split up.
And she was helping you, your sister, or you helped her?
I helped her.
Yeah, and so you needed to have somebody to help in order to help you cope. Were you sad when Mum and Dad got divorced?
When they were divorced, they used to phone each other and they were shouting at each other down the phone, and I just sat on the stairs and cried.
Did they know you were sitting on the stairs and crying?
Well, my mum did, but my dad didn't.
You didn't tell him?
Like me and my brother, before my mum and dad had split up, we was always fighting and we didn't get along at all. And then when my mum and dad had split up, it was totally different because my brother would sit there and cry and I'd have to give him attention, and I'd say it would be alright because my brother's just got a little bit of a weaker heart than I have.
How old was your brother? Was your brother younger than you?
Older.
Older. So you were like being mom to brother?
Yeah, because he was always really upset and crying.
With me it was different. I felt really resentful with my sisters because they got on better with my dad.
You two are living separately, Lisa and Gareth, aren't you? Is that good or bad, Lisa?
I think it's good.
I thought you might. Why do you think it's good? See, Leonie's saying that the wonderful thing for them, I mean, it was the worst thing that happened to you, wasn't it, Darren? Your mum and dad, yeah?
Yeah, because first of all, I didn't know I didn't really believe it, that anything was happening. And then I was talking to my sister and she said, yeah, it's true, and we just had to talk to each other and work stuff out.
I just can't talk to him. He's so different from me, and I know that, you're supposed to be really close and stuff, but he's so like my mum, and, they split up, and I'm like my dad, and they split up, and I can't talk to him about anything. I don't really want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to, because we've got such different views on them.
So don't you feel like he's your brother?
Well, we know that we're brother and sister,
yeah, but it's not like anything major to me.
It's not anything major.
It's not like if I was walking down the street and I saw him walking down the street, I wouldn't go, oh, hi, do you want to go and do that? No, we've got
so hang on,
lives.
anything major, by anything major, you mean it's not a big thing that you're brother and sister? It's not important to you that you're brother and sister?
Not for me now, not at the moment. I think I can, when I get older, I think it will change, but at the moment it's not important.
I hope so. Do you want your mum and dad to get back together, Stephanie?
I do, yeah. I don't like the way they are now, because if my mum and dad ever got a new partner, I would try and split them up, because I want my mum and dad to get back together.
You try and split them up?
Yeah.
I was about to say, there's a helpline, for any of you children that are in this, there's a childline free phone, 0880 1111, which you can ring. But it might be that it's the parent who's got this child that's going to split you up that might need the helpline. But you are clear that if you don't want your mum and dad to marry somebody else, something different, if they did, what would you do to split them up?
I did, if my dad got a new girlfriend, I'd try and cause a fight between them, or be really naughty with my dad's new girlfriend.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing that, Carrie?
I was the same as that when I was little, when I didn't want
You were the same as that when you were little?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
When my
So go on, you tell Stephanie, because she's only little, obviously, Stephanie. How old are you?
12.
12, how old are you?
12.
Oh, you're both 12. Oh, go on then.
And then when I was little, my dad used to find another girlfriend. I used to try and split him up because I didn't want him to go and get married with each other or something. And then once I got used to it then, I just let him alone then. Now.
And you accept it now?
Yeah, and now I got a new stepdad. I got lots of people who help me in school and things like that.
Well, my dad and Mum, I know they will never get back together because a lot has happened between them. And now my dad's found
a new girlfriend, and they're due to get married soon. And me and my stepmom, we get on really well. It's like the story of the wicked stepmom, but it's totally different.
But it's okay for you.
And I get on a lot better with my dad as well, and I think she's helped him a lot to be more calm and everything, because when he used to be at work, when he was with my mum, it was terrible for us to come home because we just scared of him. Because he was...
So for you, he's better, the partner.
Yeah.
Is it better when your dad gets a new partner?
Yeah.
Is it? How'd you get on?
Fine.
Do you really? I thought you thought she was a bit hyper.
She is.
She is?
She's sometimes.
What do you mean by hyper? What does she do then?
She's always like wanting to play stuff.
Wanting to play with you? She's trying to be kind. Do you realise that? She's trying to get you to love her. Do you think you will be able to? What is it like when Mum or Dad gets a new partner? Do you want them to?
No.
You don't like it? Why?
I don't know.
I find it's better because now my mum's with another man. She's a lot happier. So when I see her, she's not just playing on the computer or hiding away. She's happier, and I can spend time with her and be happy.
Was that what she was doing? She was playing on the computer.
Yeah.
She was hiding away.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you did, not what Mums did. But you realised that she was hiding away?
Yeah, she was just almost trying to avoid my dad before they separated.
Before the divorce. So they had, what, there's a kind of an atmosphere in the house?
Yeah.
What did that atmosphere make you feel?
At first, I didn't actually really know why. It's annoying that your parents don't get on and won't talk to each other at all. The only time they actually saw each other was when we ate.
How did you cope with all this? What do you say to somebody, you give them advice, like she went to school and asked her friends, what do you do? How do you cope? What's the lesson?
I just forgot about it and just ignored the fact.
You put it to one, you try and ignore it. You try and put it, a bit of denial. Is that how you cope? Holly, move up for me a bit, just a little bit. How old are you?
6.
6. When did your mum and dad get divorced?
I don't know, because I was at school.
You was at school when it happened. Do you remember them telling you that they weren't going to live together anymore? You do? What's the thing that you want most?
I want them to get back together.
You want them to get back together? Do you tell them that? Do you wish, do you pray for it, wish for it? You don't? What do you want?
I want my mum to get back together as well, because, you know, with dandelions, you know, people usually wish on them. I usually wish they get back together.
When they've all got all the seeds? You blow the seeds and you wish?
I wish they get back together and we move back into our old house all together with my brother and sister.
And that's what you want? Do you think it's likely to happen?
No, I don't think it ever happened.
Keep blowing the dandelions. Lots and lots and lots of dandelions. We parents have got a lot of responsibility, haven't we? Us adults got a lot to answer for, you know. There's a lot of pain here this morning. A lot of real damage has been done. And it shouldn't have happened. It's not necessary. It should never have happened. And perhaps, above all, we have to say that kids are the most important thing in all of this. They come first, last, all the time. Perhaps sometimes we're looking at ourselves too much and saying, me, 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 and we're worrying about our happiness and not taking into account of the people who we're supposed to be responsible for. Take care of yourselves.
If you'd like to join Robert in a programme about step-parents, call now on 0990 100 771. Does your partner have children from a previous marriage? Does that cause problems for you? Have the children taken to you, or do you not get on? Do you argue with your partner about looking after his or her children? Does your partner have difficulty with your children? Call 2 on 0990 100 771 if you didn't get on with your stepmother or stepfather as a child.
Tomorrow, the parents of some of the children you've just seen will be speaking to Kilroy about the difficulties of helping children come to terms with divorce. That's at the same time, 9 o'clock, here on BBC One.
strange creatures.
I think if you weren't prepared to live with 18 people, you wouldn't be here.
With spine-chilling powers.
We'll go on the hunt purely for men that will do jobs around the house.
It is every man's nightmare.
Who torment and torture.
I have a contract which they sign, agreeing to do their share of the cleaning.
With blood-curdling determination.
If I was about the house sometimes, what should...
It's a nightmare.
I can make fridges smell appalling.
Join Joe Brand for the horror of Flatmates, tonight at 8 on BBC One.
Now on BBC One, the BBC News with Anna Ford.
Good morning. The Duke of Edinburgh has defended the use of genetically modified foods. During a lecture, the Duke said past scientific developments had done more harm to the environment than would ever be caused by GM foods. His views are at odds with those of Prince Charles, who's issued warnings about what he's described as Frankenstein foods. More than 90 people are now known to have died and 500 have been injured in an earthquake on the Indonesian island of Sumatra. Many buildings have been completely destroyed and rescuers expect to find more bodies. There's been a series of aftershocks and some survivors are afraid to go inside buildings left standing in case they're brought down by further tremors. A new warning about the safety of breast implants filled with soya oil is expected to be announced by ministers this morning. They're expected to recommend that women with trilucent implants should have them checked and possibly removed. The implants were withdrawn from sale last year amid fears about their safety. The Queen will be at the Imperial War Museum in London today to open a permanent exhibition as a memorial to the victims of the Nazi Holocaust. It took 4 years to put together and is the first exhibition in an established museum in this country. It's the largest Holocaust exhibition outside Israel and the United States. The country's biggest mortgage lender, the Halifax, says house prices fell last month by 0.4%. The Halifax believes the property market has passed its peak as buyers respond to interest rate rises and the abolition of mortgage tax relief. Researchers are claiming that cheap sunglasses can give as much protection as designer brands. The Consumers Association says a pair costing £1 perform just as well in tests as expensive glasses. But the association says shoppers must choose a pair with the British Standard mark. That's it. More news in an hour.
Hello again. Not only sunglasses, but umbrellas might be a good idea today. A bit of a mixed bag. It's not looking very nice in London at the moment. That's the fog that's lifted. It's taking a wee while for the low cloud to clear out of the way, but a little bit of sunshine breaking through eventually. And also the chance of a few showers. You can see we've got some colours on the radar moving across Ireland into Northern England, Scotland. Also a few showers working their way across England and Wales. Might be the odd rumble of thunder in the east for a time later on in the day. And that's the forecast.
And a very good morning from BBC One. All the Right Moves looks at unusual ways of living, like buying a houseboat or starting a commune. That's in half an hour, and then the Garden Invaders take a stroll along the riverbank, and they're delighted to find a big pile of rubbish to get rid of. It's 11 o'clock, followed by the House Invaders, transforming a summer house ready for the summer party season. They're creating a tented ceiling at 11:30. And that's all to come in the next couple of hours. It's Tuesday morning on BBC One.
Another serving of Meals in Minutes, the show where I'll be using ingenious shortcuts to create the type of meals we like to eat at home, even though we think we don't have the time. What's more, all my delicious recipes this evening can be cooked in just 15 minutes. Oh, yes, they can. Oh, Ainsley. Joining me will be some people who are tired of those ready-made meals and need some inspiration. So, let's take a look at a typically busy day led by my first guests.
busiest part of the day for me is early morning markets. One of us is up maybe about 4 or 5, quick cup of tea and then jump in the van, off we go to market. How many is in that one? Choosing all the stock, more tea.
Fresh today.
And then come back here, set up the shop, unload the van.
Open about 8:30, after a cup of tea. And it's just basically physically moving all the stock sort of outside and displaying it on the pavement.
I don't really eat breakfast until I come back here, so breakfast turns into lunch really easily. And it's just grab a sandwich. Lunch! We never really have like a break for tea or coffee.
No.
We have tea all the time.
Yeah, we do. It does keep it going, doesn't it?
On an average day, could be anything up to 30 deliveries. Gabby Tubbs, Homes and Gardens.
Hello, Green. Yes, that's right. We have a lemon tree. We shut the shop about 7. Supper is pasta, more or less, or takeaway.
Yeah, something quick, because we're pretty tired at the end of the day, and it's just nice to get something, just get sat down. You know, don't want to be standing around and doing things in the kitchen, really. What's in the fridge?
Parmesan.
Parmesan. Bit of mould.
4 o'clock in the morning. I'm just turning over and having sweet dreams, and they're up down the market. It must be so difficult, Jonty and Nick, to remain as fresh as a daisy throughout the day, though, mustn't it?
It is. Well, you mainly get up and go to market, don't you?
And I don't think I do remain as fresh as a daisy for the whole day.
And then, of course, you've got to go back to the shop after that, and you've got to sell, and you've got to be nice and fresh, and you know, with the customers coming in to buy flowers. Is it quite a tough business to be in?
It is long hours, certainly, and certainly a lot of actual manual work.
Yes, well, I tell you what, roses might be red and violets might be blue, but Jonty and Nick, this dish is for you. Chicken Kiev with butterbean puree, I tell you. Wait till you see this one. It's absolutely wonderful. And not only that, I'll combine the old Parmesan cheese that's in your fridge. Now, first of all, we're starting off with nice breast of chicken. You can buy these at your supermarkets or butchers. Notice no skin on here whatsoever. And then take that, pop that onto your board. And you want to make a little slip. You want to sort of create a pocket there. So you can either, it doesn't matter which end you use, just sort of roll that over, but find that area there where you can just insert the knife and create a pocket. That's it, like that, just running the knife inside. Don't try and sort of slit all the way along. Kind of move the knife inside, so that gives you that feeling. Now, if it does sort of, if you do pierce the skin, don't panic there, because you'll just sort of double pane, but it will all make sense just in a while. Just watch me put this together there. First, I want you to take a nice dollop of butter there. Oh, yes, indeed. There we are. Pop that into your dish. And then a good couple of tablespoons there, maybe as much as 3 or 4 tablespoons of parsley into the butter, along with a couple of cloves of garlic. We couldn't be chicken Kiev without the old garlic, would it? No, it wouldn't. Hey, slip that in there. Oh, beautiful. Now give that a bit of a mix. Literally, all you're really doing is sort of binding the parsley and the garlic together with the butter there, so it just makes it easier to insert into that little pocket like that. That's it. Don't be too fussy about it. You see what I've done there. It's just kind of roughly done. Then you pick that up and you pop that inside there. Get your finger and give it a good rub in there. That's it. Really push that right into the corners there, like that. And then we take that, we pop that into a little bit of seasoned flour there. Roll that around in your seasoned flour. Plain flour with salt and pepper. Does this just getting your taste buds going over there? You're thinking about this, yeah?
It's marvellous.
Oh, goody, goody, good. And then into some egg. Now, just literally...
You simply gotta